really excited to introduce you all to Jordan and Joelle Hernandez. Jordan and Joelle, we're really thrilled to have you joining us today. I want to just do a brief introduction. So Jordan and Joelle are twins and Loyola alumni, and they have had just a really fascinating career since graduating, I believe just back in 2014, right?
2014, yes.
Excellent. So both Jordan and Joelle are at Mediaplanet currently in Manhattan. They're coming to us live tonight from Hoboken, New Jersey. And in addition to their work at Mediaplanet, they've done some really interesting additional things that I think they may touch on tonight. One of which is Joelle has been a regular contributor to Hoboken Girl, which is an influential lifestyle blog in New Jersey. They've also both co-authored a children's book, Twin Tales, Sasha and Sophie Go to School, which is just a really awesome project. So I want to really just turn things over to Jordan and Joelle to kick us off and just give us a little bit of perspective on your careers, some advice for our students. It's really up to you, but we'll start there. And thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us. Yes, thank you for having us. Students, thank you so much for joining. Obviously, I mean, even if you're on campus, you're at home 7:30 on a weeknight where you're still active and engaged in conversation is a testament to hear that some of you, this is your multiple times back for the weekly events is great. Honestly, keep doing what you're doing because that is what sets you on the path to greatness and what sets you apart from other people. But absolutely, as before we get started, I do want to introduce we do have a small dog next to us, yes. A 10-year-old Yorkie Poodle mix. Her name is Chica. So just in case she decides to make a vocal appearance, at least you know who that is. Right. But to actually introduce ourselves, I'm Jordan. I'm Joelle. And of course, we are members, graduates of the class of 2014 of Loyola. And like mentioned, we both work at a company called Mediaplanet. It's a content marketing publishing company that produces advocacy and awareness campaigns. They do come out on both print and digital platforms. So we've both been there for 6 years in December, which if you do the math, we've been out of college for 6 years now. We did have a very short stint at a beauty marketing company when we first graduated. We got our first jobs out of college the night before we graduated from Loyola. Yes. So literally like right there as a buzzer beater before we graduated, and obviously graduated on a Saturday. It was Memorial Day weekend and started working on that Tuesday. So right away. And then that company did unfortunately go bankrupt. So everybody was laid off. So we were out of work for a little while. We did get a little bit of a delayed summer before we picked up working at Mediaplanet that following December after graduation. And we've been there ever since. So right now I'm currently a business development manager at Mediaplanet. So I oversee a team of 5, hopefully 6. I just sent out a job offer to somebody today. I hope she signs the contract. A team of project managers who are, like Jordan said, putting out these niche advocacy and awareness campaigns. A majority of the role is sales-based, but the sales are based on different topics, editorial topics within the campaign. So ranging from anywhere between diabetes and transplants to women in STEM to empowering our educators, to body empowerment, pet wellness, you name it, we've done it. And it's a lot of fun, really, really cool company. And Jordan is our partnership and distribution manager is my official title. I was a project manager, moved into the role that Joelle is currently in now, business development management for about 2 years, and then just moved into this role exactly 3 months ago, which has been exciting. And most of what I do is liaison between our company and our newspaper partners. So we do work with larger newspapers like USA Today, LA Times, San Francisco Chronicle, Miami Herald, and a few others. So I am one of our main points of contact between us and those newspapers. I also do a lot of our influencer strategy. So on all of our campaigns, we work with some kind of influencer, whether it's a household name or more of an industry influencer. I'm the one kind of getting those relationships. Most notably this quarter, we're working with Patrick Dempsey, Jimmy Fallon, and Julie Andrews, which is really exciting. So exciting to be able to facilitate those relationships and make our campaigns really big. A big initiative of mine right now is to make sure we are including diverse stories in our campaigns. It's always been an initiative of mine since I started at Mediaplanet, but now a little bit more formally, making sure that those stories are seen and heard in all of our campaigns.
Yeah, and as Jim mentioned, we do quite a bit outside of work. So we are both contributors for a Hoboken Girl blog. It's a lifestyle blog here obviously in Hoboken, the largest lifestyle blog in Hudson County. And it just kind of ranges from, again, every topic that you can think of in Hoboken. We're in the middle of doing a couple of breast cancer awareness articles right now. We're doing an article on wheelchair accessible activities throughout town. So a bunch of different topics, mostly lifestyle. And then we're also the volunteer coordinators there. So not doing too much of that right now, mostly virtual stuff and different drives. We're in the middle of a period poverty. Well, it's getting ready to start on, I'm looking at the calendar, I think Saturday. Getting ready to start on Saturday for period poverty here in Hudson County, and just organizing different things of that nature. But that's been a really cool experience. And then, yeah, the book was actually started as a Loyola project. Surprisingly enough, that we actually ended up then taking and carrying it through after we graduated. And it's been a really cool experience seeing the self-publishing process and how that works. We have book festivals. We've gone down to the Baltimore Book Festival quite a bit. So that's been interesting to kind of navigate. And then we wrote another one, and it's currently being illustrated. So fingers crossed that it's out before the end of the year. Again, the publishing process is an interesting one, so we'll see how that goes. But it's written, so hopefully it'll be on Barnes & Noble and Amazon soon.
Getting to our Loyola roots, we do additionally do a lot of community service outside of work. So like Joelle mentioned, we're the volunteer coordinators for Hoboken Girl, so making sure we're doing a lot within the Hoboken, Jersey City, and Hudson County community at large. We also are board members of a nonprofit called Party with Purpose, which is a fundraising based organization where we raise funds for other nonprofits. We're literally a funding organization for those nonprofits to be able to do the work that they're doing. And then we have our own nonprofit that we started when we were very young with two of our close friends. And we have a couple of big events coming up this month because they were postponed earlier in the year, of course, all of which benefit either educational resources for students, whether they're younger students or going into college, as well as basic needs. So hunger resources mostly, it was what a lot of our events go to. And then just really volunteering wherever we can. We are involved in a local church here at Hoboken, as well as our home church. So wherever we can volunteer with those things, we try to get our hands involved.
Yeah.
I think that we're hobby bakers.
Yeah, we like to bake a lot. So we have a really small, like hand decorated cookie business, I guess you can call it. People around town do ask us to bake things, and we charge them for the supplies, really. But it's just fun.
We do rack up about 4 orders a week, so
yeah,
we're getting there.
But it is just a fun sort of outlet to be able to do something creative.
I assume you both live in a place where there are more than 24 hours in the day then, right?
No, time management, honestly, in college, well, before that, even when we were younger, our parents always instilled time management in us, and kind of you do what you have to do before you could do what you want to do. We've always been this active since we were young, but I think it's always things that we've wanted to be in. And in college really teaches you time management. High school prepares you for a 9 to 5. College teaches you time management because, as you all know, you're on a course right now at 7:30 at night. I normally would be probably on the couch right now at 7:30 at night in the real world. So college teaches you different skills and kind of managing what you want to do while doing things you have to do. So that's really what we've been able to take with us in our lives. Now, we do not stay up past 10 o'clock. Everything that we do is done at 10. So I always say you have to have some kind of cutoff for yourself. I'm not a nighttime person, so that cutoff for me has to be at nighttime. If you're a nighttime person, maybe that cutoff for you has to be like 3 a.m. or something. But making sure that you can fit what you want to fit in a day without draining yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I ask you about you mentioned the idea of being Jordan, now you're partnership and distribution manager, I think you said. Previously project manager, and you used the term like moving more into business development. I'm wondering if you could give us just a breakdown generally of the different roles and how maybe some insights into what they're like and how our students might be able to tell, okay, this is something that I'd really be interested in working towards after graduation versus this.
For sure. I think one of the biggest things to do is to recognize that you can go one of two ways, right? So when we were in college, everything was radio. We did WLOY. All of our internships were radio. We interned at 4 different radio stations in Baltimore, 6 different radio stations in New York. We had shows at other stations. Everything was radio, and that's what we were, you know, poised to do. And that is still something that we enjoy doing, obviously, with talking here. But I think also being open to your other skill sets and not being so like closed off. So at Mediaplanet specifically, when I went into the project management role, I knew it was mostly sales. Our background came from sales. When we were at Loyola, we worked at Phonathon for all 4 years, which for all intents and purposes is sales. And some may argue the hardest sales because you're asking people for money and not giving them anything. You're just saying, thank you, and then hanging up the phone. So once I was able to master that after 4 years at Loyola, and then I got my first sales job out of college, I was like, oh, I get to ask them for money and I have a product to give them? This is amazing. So, you know, got that first 6 months of experience. I was on the sales team. And then when we moved to Mediaplanet, it was fairly similar. One thing with Mediaplanet that I like with the sales is that it's a little bit more of a purpose behind it. Like Joel was mentioning, we do advocacy and awareness campaigns. So they all are on topics that mean something. My second campaign was on skin health. Everybody has skin, you know, so like there's certain things that you really can relate to. So I would say that to say with the different roles, kind of tap into different skill sets that you may have when you go to college, whether that's, you know, you're an executive leader on a board of a club, or you are a mentor and you're giving advice, you know, tap into the different things that you like and kind of find what exactly is it that I like about doing this. Am I doing this to put it on my resume, which is fine. Some people have things like that they do. Or am I doing this because my friends are doing it? But if I am doing that, what about it do I like? And how can I take that skill set and apply it to something at another job and also market that skill set that I have to my future employer?
Yeah, I would definitely say marketing yourself in a way. And I know that the Career Center, they didn't pay me to say this, but I know the Career Center does a great job of this. To be able to figure out what it is that you've enjoyed during your time at school, whether that's just starting or if you're in your last year. I'm not going to say finishing up yet because my seniors out there, I know that you don't want to hear that. It's not finishing up. You have lots of time left. So, you know, no matter if you're in the beginning or the end, there are skills that you're acquiring throughout your entire time at Loyola and maybe even before, or that you will acquire after, that you can talk to the Career Center about and say, hey, I actually really like this aspect of it. I never thought as a business development manager, like I said, I manage a team of 5 people. So I never really thought of myself as this like manager people person. I mean, I'm a people person, but I never thought of myself as a strong manager. And then I kind of thought back after my first quarter as a manager, our finance director was in my review and he said, have you done this before? I had a very strong first quarter, and I was just actually telling somebody my second quarter, the fall from grace was not great, but we picked it back up after that. So my first quarter, in my review, the finance director said, have you done this before? And originally in my mind, I was like, no, I haven't. But at Phonathon, I managed people, and it was set up in a very similar way. If I would love to do a study on the way that Phonathon is set up and the way that Mediaplanet is set up, the core of it is very, very similar. And I think that's probably why we do well there. But I never really thought of myself, like I said, as this manager person, because I was never a top salesperson as a project manager. So then when I was put up for this management role for this promotion, I was like, well, why? Like there's other people who should be getting this instead of me. But you know, the fact that I was able to hone those skills at Loyola and then bring them to Mediaplanet was one of the most valuable things I could have ever done in college.
Great insight. Yeah, it's knowing that there is a lot of transferability from a situation like that to your current roles. It's just great to be thinking about as early as possible. Speaking of just kind of changes, work has changed drastically this year, right? I mean, school has changed drastically. We've all been impacted. What insights and advice do you have on how you've been able to adjust and adapt to that could inspire us tonight?
Yeah, I think one of the things, I mean, we were talking a little bit about this before, but transitioning into college for us wasn't easy. We had each other, and I think that made me feel even more guilty that I felt so homesick, because I was like, I have my sister, I see other people that are homesick and they don't have anybody, and they decided to go like 15 hours away from home. We were only 3 hours away from home. But I think allowing yourself to know
you have to be in tune enough with yourself to know when something's not okay with yourself and allow yourself to feel that. And also to know what you have to do to get yourself like out of that feeling. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. If you need to cry, if you need to, you know, be upset or angry or whatever, allow yourself to feel that. But what is it that you have to do to pull yourself out of it? Or also what patterns are you falling into that may not be healthy? Of course, we know there's like extreme things that you could be doing that aren't healthy. Hopefully you're not getting there, but there may be things that you find yourself doing that aren't necessarily healthy, and you have to bring yourself back. I know for me, working out is a constant for me. If I go a couple of weeks without working out, sure, maybe I'm just being lazy, and I can recognize for myself when that's the case. But if it is like, am I upset? Am I sad? Why am I not doing this? Right. What is it that I'm not doing? If I wake up, you have to kind of have your red flags. I read this book a while ago, and this girl was saying, like, the author was saying that you have your like SOS symbols. So for her, it was getting her nails done. I don't know what it is now. She's getting her nails done now or not. I read this book years ago, but for her, it was getting her nails done. She's like, if you see me and my nails are not done, know that something is terribly wrong in my life. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, what is that with me? And honestly, it's spending money. If I am just spending money on like lunch, I never buy my lunch. I always pack my lunch. Know that something is terribly wrong, because that means I don't have time to make my lunch. I don't have time to cook my own food. Like, what is happening? So making sure you kind of know those things about yourself. And like I mentioned, I know for me, working out makes me feel better. Listening to music or whatever makes me active and acclimate to change a little bit better, to bring this full circle. I know it's a very long-winded answer, but make sure you kind of know those things about yourself, and also let your friends know those things about you. The people around you will start to notice those different changes in you and be able to say like, hey, what's going on? You know, you weren't doing that. Our college roommate was baking lemon loaf cakes a lot during the pandemic. And I called her, is everything okay? Are we going to eat all 5 of them? Yeah, I called her and I was like, your size is, please do not think that I'm saying this to you. I just want to make sure, are the lemon loaves just for you, or are they for someone else? What's happening here? She's like, no, like, actually like being able to like do something over and over again. Like, I know how it's going to come out. I've been bringing them to family members, my aunts, my cousins. I was like, okay, good, because she's not really a baker. So, you know, kind of like knowing how you're going through those changes and making sure that people can see that within you too. Yeah, I would say from a work perspective, and I would imagine this might apply to school as well, just having those parameters around you. I can't speak from experience having been in college from home, but working from home, you have to kind of separate. We were just sharing, we're in a 1-bedroom apartment. So our living room has become our gym, our office, our baking space. When we don't run out of space on the kitchen counter, it's become our dog's playroom. It's literally a multi-purpose room at this point. So just kind of, you know, making that space for yourself. For me, at the end of the day, I have to fold up my table and put my desk away. I need to make sure that all of the dishes are away when I'm not in the kitchen. Like, for me, that's the way that I've kind of been separating. So for you at school, it might be, you know, are your parents knocking on the door and saying, hey, what do you want for lunch? And in the back of your mind, you're like, if I was in Baltimore, she wouldn't be asking me this. Right. So, you know, have that conversation with your family members, with your siblings, your mom, your dad, your guardians, or whoever you're with, about this sort of separation. If that's something that you need to be zoned in for a certain amount of time. And then, you know, then you can go downstairs and have those conversations. Or are you saying, if I was in college, I wouldn't be talking to you 24/7, and maybe you have some sort of system that works that way. So I would definitely just say that the separation has been what's been really, really helpful for me.
Makes good sense. Yeah, it's a whole new routine, but we've got to be aware of what our routines are and also express them to other people to be able to be successful, right? Let me ask you one additional thing. When we were talking at a networking event a couple of years ago in New York, and you shared, Jordan, a really interesting experience that you've had with Loyola Connect, our online networking platform, which we're really glad, especially today, that we have to offer to our students. And I just, it's such an interesting experience you've had. I was wondering if you just would share it with our students here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Loyola Connect, when the emails first came out for it, I was like, oh, this is cool. Anything Loyola. I literally almost pummeled a girl the other day in the street. She had a Loyola shirt. And I was like, Loyola! And she was like, okay. Hi. So anything Loyola that comes in, we are like ready to pounce on. So of course, once I saw Loyola Connect, I was like, oh, this is amazing. So
through that platform, I actually had, she was just a recent graduate, I guess, when she reached out to me and just asked about Mediaplanet. You know, I have a little description similar to LinkedIn on my Loyola Connect page, and she was just talking about her major at Loyola and all this kind of stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I'll get on the phone with you, you know, just give you career advice. She had also worked with her roommate or her friend at college, I don't know if they were roommates, to publish a book. And so when she saw that we published a book, that really prompted her to reach out to find out a little bit more. So when I was talking to her, she was saying what she's into. She's very into environmental health and social justice and all these kind of things. And I was like, have you ever done sales? And she said, no. I was like, would you be open to doing it? And she's like, I mean, I guess so. You know, Loyola students are always ready to do anything. So I was like, why don't you, you know, apply to Mediaplanet? I told her what I do at Mediaplanet. And I was like, you know, I actually am hiring. I am in a position to hire you. And one of the beautiful things at Mediaplanet is that if I want to hire somebody, I can hire them. We really don't have a lot of red tape at all. That is something, obviously, working for a big corporation has its perks, but working for a smaller company definitely has its perks because you can, you know, feel empowered to do a lot of what you want to do. So when we had the conversation, she applied and I was like, I can't promise you anything. You know, you have to go through the regular interview process. And like Loyola student, she knocked it out of the park and she was hired. And it's been great having that connection, you know, honestly, just having somebody during the day to just say, well, not so much anymore because we're virtual, but during the day to just be like, oh my God, did you go here in college? You know, if people are talking about something and you bring up your college experience. We have a lot of Penn State people in the office. We do. And it was making me angry for a while.
We do a lot of Penn State people and they talk about Mad Max and all the people. I can name every place at Penn State and I've never even been there from just hearing people at work talk. And so I'm like, I want somebody from Loyola here. So just being able to say like, what did you eat in Boulder? You know, when you had the meal plan, what did you, you know, buy every day for lunch? And just have those conversations. So she's been at Mediaplanet now for about 1.5 years. Oddly enough, I managed her, like I said, and then when I moved into this new role, she was then placed on Joelle's team. Joelle actually kicked somebody else off of
campaigned for her for a little bit to get her onto my team.
Yeah, and then we do have another Loyola. I had another person from Loyola Connect that I had hired, and she was at Mediaplanet for a little while, and then moved on to another role. And now we do have another person at Mediaplanet from Loyola.
And
she's just
Stephanie was.
Oh yeah. She didn't come through Loyola Connect, but she was referred to us from somebody at WLY, and we, you know, she started working at Mediaplanet, and then Isabel works at Mediaplanet now, and she actually reached out to me her junior year of college from Loyola Connect, just so intrigued with Mediaplanet, and you know, had a bunch of questions, and I interviewed her and hired her, and then I moved into this new role. So unfortunately I had to pass her off to somebody else, but she is doing really well at Mediaplanet. So I say that to say with Loyola Connect, obviously everybody who reaches out to me, I cannot promise a job, but it is a great way to connect with people, and people who, one, have your best interest, because Loyola alumni are just that great in connecting with each other, and then two, that know where you're coming from. I know what a well-rounded education means in the workplace. I know that our writing skills, the writing skills like that Loyola students come from, especially with persuasion and emails for sales, are like no other. I mean, outside of teaching Eliana the actual just terminology that we use at Mediaplanet that nobody would know unless they work at Mediaplanet, I rarely had to change her emails, whereas students coming from other colleges that aren't as well-rounded, that hasn't been the case in my experience with managing them. And just the interpersonal skills, the passion that they have for especially social issues is unmatched. And I mean, I'm biased, but it's definitely, you can see the difference. I mean, I will say, you know, people coming from other Jesuit schools with liberal arts education kind of fit in the same. I do think Loyola has a little bit of an advantage, but Loyola Connect will allow you to be able to speak to somebody and tell them they know the skills that you're coming with.
Right, absolutely.
So great, thank you. That alumni network really works.
It does, yes.
And Jordan and Joelle and a lot of our other alumni are waiting to hear from you. So I hope you take advantage of that. I really want to thank you both. This has been a really great conversation. I've enjoyed just hearing your stories, the enthusiasm you have for your work, for Loyola, and for our students to give back and talk with us tonight has been really great. It's really, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.